Now, this is the part where we're going to do a extensive review on these two figures in robot mode. Now, the most obvious difference is the weapons, the head, and the paint job. And even though they have very, very similar size and stature and shape, they are very different. There is a lot of remolding going on. Now, first of all, let's just show you the weapons. Now, Optimus has his traditional blaster, plus this other blaster. And these two combine into a big long rifle. And I really like this part where, let me undo it. See, there's this part on the bigger gun, slightly bigger gun, and this part, which kind of looks like motor parts. I am no auto mechanic, so I can't tell you what that's supposed to be. But they kind of, in addition to plugging together right there, they just touch to kind of give it a better look, I guess you'd say. And then we got Motormaster coming with completely different weapons. He's got this silver blaster and this sword, which I showed in the previous video, and I showed this part too. This is what they look in combined mode. This giant, really, really, really cool sword. I am really digging this sword. I mean, I'm not even upset that there's this little peg thing sticking out. I just really love it. I mean, a lot of detail on it. Really cool, really shiny sword. So, that's their weapons. Now let's take a look at their heads. This is going to get a little sitcom weird, kind of. Obviously, they got very different heads. Optimus looks like Optimus. His head, and a lot of people have said this, his head for his body is a little small, but considering this is how you hide the head, it can't be much bigger. And of course, Motormaster, I think his head looks normal. I mean, really, his face is even smaller than Optimus, but it looks good. I don't know why, but it looks good. I guess maybe Motormaster's supposed to look like one of those guys who are coming out of the gym all sweaty and beefed up with a tiny head. We've all seen them. Alright, now as for body, from the feet up to the top of the legs and this little crotch section right here, they're pretty much identical except for paint jobs, obviously. But molding and all that, they're identical. This part keeps on falling on me. It's unusual. And then, from the waist up, pretty much everything gets at least a little bit of remolding. Now on Motormaster, we got like some purple parts right there, and it's all gray, and instead of the windows, we just got this one chest piece. And with Optimus, it's got a lot of different look to it. Instead of all the engine-y looking parts, we have a whole bunch of headlight looking parts. And from there, it kind of has like a almost rib and abdomen look to it. And he's got this little part that sticks out right here. And Motormaster does not. And of course, he's got the Optimus chest pet windows that Optimus almost always has. I mean, that's how you can tell it's Optimus. Now his shoulders, their shoulders, Optimus's are a lot more basic, and they got that crappy sticker in there. And there's not really much on the top except for the, I guess the sun, whatever this thing is. I'm no truck expert. and what is going to become the grill looks way, way different, which is this part right here. Very, very, very different. Their forearms, this outer piece is pretty different. I mean, pretty much the same. But this inner piece right here, you can see where there's a line. See that line right there? That part on each figure is very different. Optimus's, he just has like this little bit of texture right here, where Motormaster has a little bit more going on. I'll show you the end part of the forearms. And Optimus seems like he's got kind of a cutout block right there, and there's some design around the screw hole, where Motormaster does not have the cutoff block. It's kind of ramped up, and it's got this circular piece and some lines. We turn it around, it's pretty much the same. And then from this part right here, which is the inner part of the truck, is very different. Optimus's, we just got a couple straight lines and some rivets. Motormaster's, we got some kind of diagonal design lines, some little circles, and this part right here. I mean, that's actually some really cool molding going on here. I mean, mold-wise, they really put a lot of time and effort into making these guys. And I like the fact that they're taking the time to remold. You know, usually they would have just slapped a different head on him and called it Motormaster and a different paint job. But they really went above and beyond to change that. Oh, and Motormaster has these things on top of his shoulders where Optimus doesn't, and that's actually going to become kind of a spoiler for the top of the cab. Alright, so, and obviously the head is different, and the smokestacks are the same. Okay. So now next we're going to be looking at the differences in their combined torso mode. So here we have Motormaster and Optimus Prime and their torso modes. And with this, I'm mainly going to be focusing on this section right here, because everything else is going to be the same, and I will have already gone over it in robot mode or truck mode. Now, first thing that you notice is different between these two are the heads. Entirely, completely different molds. There's no, a little bit of touch-up and remolding. Completely different molds. They both look very cool. Optimus's head really reminds me of the Unicron my God, why can't I talk? The Unicron trilogy series is. I don't even know if that's a word. Series is? I'm so serious. Okay, but entirely new heads. Completely different. Very cool. Makes me happy. Very cool. And Motormaster, I mean, that is a Motormastery Minosauri head right there. Oh, I mean, they both look great. The chest pieces that you fold up, this one is kind of like a Matrix, kinda. I really wish this part was picked out in paint, but it's not that hard to do by yourself. And Repro Labels that has a sticker set for this guy so far that does pick that out with the sticker. It makes it look really great. Really recommend taking a look at it. Might be your thing. The inner part of the sleeper cab right here is entirely different. It's just kind of has a textured vented section, and then we've got the crotch, or the piece that goes to the crotch plate, and then the crotch plate. Now with Minosaur, Motormaster, whatever. It looks, again, very engine party, but it looks like a spark chamber. Like a spark chamber's right there exposed. I mean, got some really, really great detail. Really cool. The piece that goes to the crotch plate is very different from Optimus's. And the crotch plate itself is very different. A little bit more detail, I think. And plus, they put a little purple there to kind of pick it out. I mean, you can barely see the purple at some angles. Oh, and I forgot to show the inside. Very ribby, I guess I should say. Very ribby in there. Very cool. Like I said, I really love how different they took one mold, and even though they got the same stature, shape, and size, you know, if you just kind of glance at them, you're just going to think repaint with a new head. But they put a lot of attention into giving us some unique characters to play with. And just so you could see the difference between the two with their other chess mode. There you go. Very different pieces. Those look like completely different molds. To me, they look like completely different molds. I'm not really showing you Optimus's. Back up a little. I mean, the shapes, like this is a little bit more curved, where his is sharper. Got some sharper edges to it. Really compare these two. Let's take their guns and swords and such off again. Now, and we're only going to be comparing the cab. The back here, don't know what it's called again. Doesn't matter because it's going to be the same. And just so you know, the wheels are exactly the same wheels. I mean, you could switch one off of here and put it on here, you wouldn't notice. But from the very front, there is a lot of difference. And for the record, this Optimus did not take anywhere as long as this Motormaster did. Not because they're any different transforming them, because I was not behind camera. But, I mean, just the truck faces, lots of difference right there. We got this kind of visor over the windshield, where Motormaster only has a little bit of a visor. The grills are very, very different. As you can see, the very front of it, he's got some hooky things right there being towed. There's his headlights. These black pieces right here are exactly the same as Optimus's. They're just gray on Optimus. Right there, he doesn't really have any color, but Optimus does. This part is a lot blockier than this part on Optimus. Kind of thins out. There's a little bit more additional detail on the sides compared to Optimus. This panel right here is exactly the same. It's just not painted the same, so therefore it looks different. There we go. The sleeper cab right here, very, very different. Put the thing down, which you can if you want, if you prefer to have it like that. Mine has trouble staying shut in this mode, but you can see lots and lots of differences there. The windows are in the front on Optimus, where they're kind of more along to the side with Motormaster. The pegs are more pronounced on Motormaster. There's some additional light things right there that Optimus doesn't have. He just kind of has this slope down design. Again, the crotch plates are different. Very different, like completely different molds. Completely different. I mean, This one is not going to be remolded from that one. Very different molds. On the very top, Motormaster has this wind spoiler. I think it's called a Luger. And Optimus does not. And then this part right here, the bottom of the head section of Voyager mode, robot mode, are, yeah, they're the same. That one piece. And I believe that's all the difference is. Well, there's that right there is different compared to that. And that's the difference between those two guys. So, there you go. I really hoped you enjoyed seeing, like I said, despite their size, shape, and stature, how different Motormaster and Optimus is. If you like the fact that I took the time to kind of show you all how different it was, because I'm sure there are probably a lot of people who did not want to buy Optimus simply because they knew that they were going to be getting the same figure as Motormaster, but you're not. If you're one who does not like buying just simple repaints with a new head, then I believe you could still buy Optimus and Motormaster and be very satisfied. Very different, very cool.